Captain Logan. And look, it's Jayson.
Hello, it's me.
Hey, everybody, guess what? Jayson wants to talk about Superman. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about Superman.
Yeah.
We were thinking about broadcasting something. We had a little bit of extra time this afternoon. We were just hanging out, and Jayson and I were just feeling especially, I don't know, kind of video happy. And I was like, hey, what can we make a video about? We kind of sat around for a minute, and then Jayson was like, Superman? And I was like, sure, let's do a video
No, we
about
didn't
Superman.
sit around for a minute. We sat around for like 10 minutes.
Shh, nobody needs to know how long it took us to come up with the topic. So we're gonna talk about Superman, and I'm gonna ask Jayson some questions about Superman, and we're gonna try to get Jayson's bearings a little bit on his Superman fandom. First of all, Jayson, would you consider yourself? Well, you know, I'm sure we'll rehash some things that we've talked about on the channel before.
Yeah.
With Superman, we're only gonna go for about half an hour because I gotta take care of my girls here after a little while. So this should be a short one. And by the way, Captain Logan show tonight at 7 o'clock Central here in about 2.5 hours. We're gonna come back and do our regular Thursday broadcast. So this is just a special extra little podcast for you.
Yes.
Jayson, would you consider yourself a Superman fan?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not like a super passionate one, it doesn't sound like?
I like Superman. I don't...
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he in your top 5 superheroes?
Probably not.
Is he in your top 10 superheroes?
Maybe.
Could you lay out very quickly your 3 to 5 favorite superheroes?
3 to 5
for us?
favorite superheroes.
Yes.
Well, Flash is up there.
Yeah?
Spider-Man is up there. Probably, honestly, the Tick is up there.
Yeah? Heck yeah. I've raised them right. Hi, Tom Atkins. Good to see you, man. And then
I like
beyond that,
Wolverine.
You've not said Batman.
Batman's probably like number 6.
Okay.
Number 5
But you don't know who that is.
Well, actually, no, not Wolverine. Gambit, and then Rogue.
Oh, yeah, because you're kind of an X-Men guy.
Yeah, and then Batman, probably.
Didn't we do this at one point with X-Men? Where it was sort of
did.
like, let's just randomly talk about X-Men? Or did we just do...
No,
it was a
top
list.
10 mutants.
It was a list. Hi, Nikki. How's it going? Then there's Brightburns.
Yeah.
She says Superman is good, but probably not in my top either, Jayson.
Yeah.
And as I've said a million times, Superman had to die before I cared about him. When I was a kid, I just couldn't get excited about it. I had that typical thing that a lot of kids do, and even a lot of adults have with Superman, where it's like, he's too powerful, he's too godlike, he's too perfect. And I don't have that anymore, because as I say all the time, the most interesting thing about Superman is watching him try to hold on to his humanity and not be changed too much by how powerful he is, and be able to live, with men as an equal.
Yeah.
So, Jayson, you think of yourself as mildly a Superman fan. Not in your top 5, maybe top 10.
Yeah.
What is your favorite iteration of Superman?
Fleischer.
Really? I was going to bring up Fleischer. I was wondering where you landed on that. Now, have you seen every short? Have you seen all the cartoons?
I've seen probably 5 of them. I know I've seen Mad Scientist. I know I've seen Metal Machines. I don't know past that.
Okay, so I've made a grave error then in not showing you the rest of that. I didn't know you liked Fleischer that much.
Mom was the one who showed me them. You haven't even showed me any of them.
We've never sat down and watched those together.
No.
Maybe get a little closer to the microphone.
Hello.
Wow. I didn't realize that. So what was your favorite of those? Did you say just now?
Of the
ones you've seen.
Probably Metal Machines. Cause they're like robots, and don't they have like, I haven't watched them in a while. Don't they have like energy beams?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're pretty cool.
Okay, so is it just the aesthetic of it?
I really like the aesthetic. I really like what that suit looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you like that Superman's not galactically powerful? He's not juggling planets.
I do like that, yeah.
That kind of thing. Okay, besides Fleischer, what would then
Besides
your
Fleischer.
second favorite Superman
Second
thing be?
favorite Superman,
Now you got me wanting to watch those. Oh, can I tell you something real quick about Fleischer? So there is a Blu-ray release that's about to happen with Fleischer.
Ooh.
That everybody was really excited about for a minute because it sounded like they were going to be really great restorations, and it sounds like they're not doing it right, and they're cutting corners on it massively, and they're not going to look great. And I don't have all the details. I wasn't prepared to talk about this, but people are no longer excited about that Fleischer set.
Oh no!
And it sounds like it's not going to be the great restoration cleanup job.
Dang it!
That it was supposed to be. So it's really sad.
Yeah.
I think maybe
and it's being made by like.
Warner's is releasing it.
Warner's, wow.
No, and that's an important distinction to make because you probably know that that's public domain.
It's public domain, and every new character in that is public domain. So like you could do whatever with Mad Scientist, metal.
You should do that.
Machines.
You should try to sell a story about Superman and the Mad Scientist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you can't put Superman in it because he's not public domain. So you have to.
Oh, I see.
You know
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
I know what you do. You do Captain America versus because you do Grant Gardner Captain America because he's in the public domain.
Is that right?
Yeah, but he doesn't have a shield or Bucky or anything, so he just has a gun and he just shoots the Mad Scientist. That would be awesome.
Okay, so what's another iteration? That you like
that
a lot?
I like. I've only seen a couple episodes of the 90s show. I do like it.
Lois and Clark? No.
No, the animated
The
show.
animated 90s show, yes. It's wonderful. And it has a killer pilot.
Yeah.
I need to show you more of that? Okay, so clearly I have been remiss in not showing Jayson enough Superman material.
Honestly, probably Dawn or Superman next.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where I would put Snyder vs. Superman. I don't know. Because I really like Man of Steel, but I hate everything else they did with that character.
Okay, but you still actually like Man of Steel?
I do.
Okay.
I find it to be a little boring, but besides that, yeah. And then I haven't seen...
And of course, famously, you think BVS is...
stupid.
Right.
And then
Let's watch it.
Sure.
Let's do a Jayson commentary on BVS.
Oh no. I'm just gonna yell at the screen.
Let's do a marathon. Let's do Man of Steel, BVS, and the Snyder Cut.
Oh no! That would take like 10 hours.
Doesn't that sound great?
No. No, it does not. What other versions of Superman?
Well, there's Lois and Clark.
I hate Lois and Clark.
How do you feel about Smallville? What you've seen of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't put it anywhere near the top. I do like certain episodes that they do right, but...
Okay, give me an example. What's something in Smallville that you thought was cool?
I liked the episode where,
Very
I
memorable
don't know.
for the Jayson, this show.
I don't
And
know.
you've been on a little bit of the 24-hour streams we've been doing.
I do.
Quick plug for that. That's coming back middle of the month, probably weekend of the 16th.
Yeah.
Tentatively, but we'll give you an official
I like
date.
the Christopher Reeves episode.
John and I come back for season 3, so tell your friends. But yes,
Cool.
The Christopher Reeve episode is
In,
a lot of
season
people's favorite. Yeah, that's Rosetta.
That's a cool episode. I also like a lot in because I watched mainly season 3. So I watched the episode where he becomes blind, and I know this isn't, I think this is season 4, but I watched Crypto.
Oh, that episode's awful. We've talked about this, haven't we? Not on the channel, but you and I have talked about this recently. Yeah. What is your favorite character in Smallville?
In Smallville,
Is it Lex like all the rest of us?
probably.
Do you love Rosenbaum as much as I do?
Not as much as you do. Yeah.
But he's great, right?
Yeah.
Is he the best Lex Luthor of the Lex Luthors that you've seen? I mean, what Lex Luthors have you seen? Like Gene Hackman.
Yep.
You probably don't remember the Lex Luthor from Lois and Clark.
I never saw any episodes with him.
Oh, maybe. Well, you've seen the pilot.
No, I haven't.
Oh, I thought I showed you that.
No.
Maybe not.
No, you showed me select episodes.
Okay.
Maybe. I don't think so though. And then PVS. And
Do you like the Lex Luthor from BVS?
no.
Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah. How do you know all the Lex Luthor actor
Well, I
names?
kind of talk about this stuff a lot.
Oh.
You know, we're talking about Superman again. This is not my first rodeo. You know.
Okay. So this isn't a TV show or a movie or anything.
Yeah.
But my favorite
Fleischer didn't have a Lex Luthor.
No, it didn't.
And at that time, it would have just been Luthor. I don't even think he had. I don't even think he had the name yet at that point. The first name.
So they so Death of Superman is what got you into Superman.
It did.
Like, be sort of a Superman fan.
And at that point, Lex had a red beard and long red hair and an Australian accent.
That's funny. Hilarious.
And he thought he was Lex Luthor 2.
Oh.
But anyway.
This is what got me into Superman.
Okay.
And what made me like Superman a lot more. The Superman Choose Your Own Adventure book.
I don't even remember this.
I think it came out in the 90s.
See, I have a Batman one. Do I also have a Superman?
You also have a Superman one. The Superman one's way better, and it has
Was it loosely based on Donner?
No, it was based on the comics.
Oh, okay.
No, it was more based on the show, I think.
The cartoon show?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It had
Interesting.
Toyman.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I really like Toyman. Is because he's in it.
Would you like to see a live action adaptation of Toyman?
Gosh, no.
Like in a movie?
No.
Oh, no. Why not?
No.
So if they announced tomorrow that
maybe
one of the villains in Superman Legacy was going to be Toyman, you would not get excited about that.
I wouldn't get excited about it.
Why not?
Not really.
If that's a villain you like.
Okay. If they made...
Would you get excited if you had a giant spider?
Yes. If they... If they make like an R-rated, not an R-rated, but if they make like a mature Superman show.
Oh, you need him to be creepy.
I need him to be creepy.
Yeah, sure.
I need him to be
the best versions have been.
Like what you've said of
somebody's doing the hearts in chat again.
Man in that one Marvel show.
Oh, Daredevil.
Yeah.
Daredevil. Sorry, not
Is it
Daredevil.
Daredevil?
No.
No.
Purple Man's Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones.
Yep.
Yeah.
And one episode of the 90s X-Men show.
And that episode's great. That episode's amazing. And he's scary in that, too.
I really want to show you Netflix Daredevil, but I still feel like it's still a little bit too much for you right now.
Oh, man.
I mean, that was a little rough for me, and I was in my 30s. So Toyman.
It's Toyman, yeah. That's a thing in Superman.
That's a character that, when I was growing up, I didn't really see show up in stuff much, and never really thought about that much. And then animated Superman had a good version of him, and there's actually been some decent Toymans. I like the one in the first season of Supergirl quite a bit too.
Really?
Yeah.
Toyman's in
he wasn't bad.
Supergirl?
They did a legacy thing with him where he had like a evil scary father. That was the original.
Is that before? Is that before she got into CW?
Yes. I think they did do that episode before they went to CW.
Cause did they did that in like season 3, right?
No, it was 2.
Was it 2?
It comes over to CW in the second season, I do believe. Yes, indeed. Let's read some live comments. Thanks for being here, folks, for this random, impromptu, completely all over the place Superman conversation. Because, look, Jayson just wanted to talk about Superman.
Because why not?
And he and I could have just done it by ourselves, but we might as well clue you guys in. Brightburn Superman Legacy is going to be interesting because if it underperforms like Man of Steel did, they're not going to give James Gunn a second shot. Well, James Gunn is spearheading the whole thing and has a contract for, I mean, when I say spearheading, I mean he's the head of the studio. So if it underperforms, there may be some question about renewing his contract, but he will be there for 4 years.
Yeah.
And he also asked if we have mixed feelings about Man of Steel. I progressively like that movie less and less every time I see it.
and I've only seen it like twice, so I'm not.
You may not want to taint your appreciation for that film by watching it more.
Right.
Is the thing.
But
So no, I don't have mixed feelings. There are things I still appreciate in that movie, but overall, I don't think it works, and I think the whole thing kind of falls apart by the third act. But I think Cavill is good casting, and I think Amy Adams is on paper the best Lois Lane there's ever been.
Oh yeah.
But and I don't mind that suit.
Yeah, I think it's a good
But
suit.
I don't like the muted color palette. I don't like the problem that becomes worse in BVS that I noticed a lot more retroactively after seeing BVS that I always complain about, which is the action scenes look different than the way everybody talks about them, where it's much more violent than anybody in the movie thinks that it is, and so all that collateral damage that people complain about, I don't know that anybody in the movies totally realizes that Superman is a problem.
Yeah.
It's not the attitude of the film, but yeah.
Worst movie with the word Superman in it, in the title of it.
With the word Superman in the title.
In the title.
I mean, the one that frustrates me the most is still Batman vs. Superman.
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in the title.
That's in the title. But if you want me to just give you the one out of the original 4, it's 3.
Is it 3?
Even before it's 4.
Well, I mean, 4 is great.
Because 4 is at least fun, even though it's cheap and terrible.
I've never seen 3, and I've never seen Returns.
You've never seen Returns?
No.
And Returns is pretty bad, too. Superman has had a much worse track record for movies overall than Batman.
Yeah, because Batman has like 5 bad movies. And Superman has less movies than Batman.
Yeah, and more of them are bad.
Yeah. Right.
And then one of them now crosses over. One of the bad Superman movies is also a bad Batman movie.
Yeah.
Interesting how that works. Tom Atkins, Cap, have you read Elliot S. Maggins' 2 Superman books? I have not. I don't know what that is right away. Jayson, I need to feed you more Superman stuff. I'd like you to look at some John Byrne. I think you would really appreciate the post-crisis Superman, like most of us do.
Yeah.
And that's the foundation for most of the cool stuff that's been done with Superman and extra media past that.
Yeah.
And I think you've read a little bit of Death of Superman.
A little bit.
But I don't think you ever got into the really wacky, convoluted stuff.
Not really, no.
Ringing of the Superman and all of that.
How do you feel about,
Mutale wants you and I to do a Man of Steel commentary for the 10th anniversary. I guess that is another anniversary, isn't it? Did we talk about that in our anniversary show?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, someone brought it up, but yeah.
Yeah, it would be... So now that I'm doing the Superhero Rewind commentary project, it would be kind of weird to do a random Man of Steel commentary that wasn't for that show, because I haven't done a commentary on that in a really long time.
Yeah.
But we could maybe have you sit in on it with me and Austin.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah.
If you wanted to stay up that late.
Yeah. How do you feel about Hollywoodland?
That's a great movie.
Is it?
Yeah, you should see it.
It has Ben Affleck in it.
Yeah, it has Ben Affleck as George Reeves.
Yeah.
So you do get to see him in a Superman suit.
Yeah.
And
so that means that he's been 3 superheroes.
What, a few years, sorta, kinda.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a stretch.
Much, yeah.
He's playing an actor playing a superhero.
Yeah, but he's been 3 superheroes.
That's a really neat historical fiction sort of biopic.
He's been Batman and Superman, so he's really the only person who can kind of remotely say that, I think.
We did a request on that last year sometime, I think, and so I've only seen it the one time, and it's not real fresh in my mind right now, but I remember that being a cool kind of historical fiction sort of biopic where it's a mystery as to how exactly he died, and we don't know all the ins and outs of his life, so it is like on the part of the filmmakers, admittedly not trying to be too true to life or realistic.
Yeah.
And it was a wonderful script, but
do you
I've not seen it in a while.
Superman in the Moment?
I've never seen that.
You've never seen it?
Nope. I've always meant to do a rewind on it.
I thought you did.
Someday.
I thought you did a commentary on it.
I've never done a commentary on it.
What?
Nope.
I can't remember. Whatever.
Tom Atkins says, hard to disagree on John Byrne's take on Superman. It hasn't aged very well. Oh, interesting. If that's how you feel about it. I haven't read much of it in a long time. I went back and reread Man of Steel at the beginning of this year, and I started into the run, but I didn't get real far. But I've always liked what I've read of that stuff.
Yeah.
So we did a commentary last week for, again, the Superhero Rewind commentary project on Superman Doomsday, and I tried to get Jayson to watch it with me, and Jayson was like, "I'm not watching that." Not to be on the commentary, but just to watch it with me while I was preparing.
No, because I've seen it before, and it's the worst thing ever. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. It's not as bad as, like, I don't know.
Well,
Super Buddies.
And you haven't seen the Death of Superman movie they made.
No, and
which I think is worse somehow.
I don't want to watch that either, because, yeah. I don't like that movie.
You haven't seen a lot of the direct-to-video animated things.
Yeah.
You did see Man of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
From a few years ago.
What's that one? What's that other one that's good that Austin and I were having a conversation about? And
I
he was
don't
like,
know.
You should watch that, and Dad likes it too. And I was like,
what, like an animated thing?
It was a direct-to-video animated thing. Yeah. It was the other good one.
Well, there's a it wasn't Superman versus the Elite, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what people tend to bring up when they talk about the good Superman movie. That movie is held in as far as Superman movies go, in close to the regard I think that Under the Red Hood has for Batman.
Oh, Under the Red Hood is amazing.
Although I think most people would say that Under the Red Hood is a better movie. But if you're just looking at Batman projects versus Superman projects, that's the best of the animated Superman ones.
Yeah.
Superman Unbound, I think, is the name of that movie, is god awful.
Whoa.
Superman, I'm trying to think. All-Star Superman is not anything like as good as it should have been, and that probably needed 2 parts, like Death of Superman got. But that is, Jayson, the really famous Grant Morrison 12-issue maxi series that I think it's 12 issues. That's truncated down, like so many of these things, into the 70-75 minute format.
Yeah.
And it sticks very close to the books about halfway through, and then it just rushes to the end and leaves a lot of stuff out.
So it does the same thing as Injustice.
No, Injustice is where, because it at least doesn't add anything crazy. I think it does go its own way a little bit, but Injustice just gets stupid in the way in what it changes.
No, Injustice is great at the beginning because it just takes it off the page, and then it just starts.
A lot of those have that track record, man. Like the same sort of thing happened, if memory, because I only watched this once because I hated it, but if memory serves, with Red Sun. First 10 or 15 minutes felt straight off the page, and then they make a fundamental change that ruins that character.
Oh no.
Yeah. Anyway. No, that was awful. But yeah, Injustice is trash.
Trash.
Oh yeah, I'll go that far. It's absolutely trash.
It's trash. It's trash.
Matthew Bass says, I like the All-Star Superman movie. Yeah, I didn't think it was bad, but I thought it could have been a lot better, and I haven't seen it since it came out either. So
that came out in like 2011, right?
It's
Something?
earlier. 11, 12, somewhere in there.
13, 14.
Yeah, go ahead.
What superhero movie do you think Superman should have been in? That Superman's not in.
That Superman's not in.
Yeah, what superhero movie do you think would be better if Superman was in it that Superman isn't in?
That's really interesting. Okay, I'll answer that in a second, but you just reminded me of something that I meant to bring up on the Superman Doomsday commentary last week, which is, it was kind of weird having that story without any other superheroes in that universe.
Yeah.
But like, there's a good argument to be made for it.
Yeah.
Because it's like, if there's no other superheroes that can help Superman kill Doomsday or fight Doomsday, then it's a lot more likely that he's not going to get through it, and the stakes are maybe higher.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things that made that whole thing feel kind of awkward, where we're being introduced to Superman in a world with no other superheroes, I guess, or nobody talks about them. But maybe they just aren't any? I don't know. Anyway, we got a couple super chats. We'll get to those in a second. Thank you, guys. So you were asking if or what super. Okay, so I guess we have to just nail it down to DC things, right?
Well, I mean, you could.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, why would Superman show up in something that's not a DC
It'd
movie?
be funny.
I'm just okay. Well, the obvious answer is Steel.
Yeah. What if Superman was in,
Have you ever had this thought? Steel is like Venom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, it definitely is.
Like, Venom's not inspired by Spider-Man in any way.
Yeah.
But he's got Spider-Man's likeness to some degree in his outfit, in his face.
Yeah.
And Steel, at least, I actually in a weird way that's handled better in that movie, as terrible as that movie is, because at least Superman is like an idea there.
Yeah.
You know?
What about Hancock?
What is the ass movie?
All-Star Superman.
ASS. Oh yeah.
He regrets the hack.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't use that acronym. I don't know. That's a point. But if you don't like it, then it's just right there, right? It's like this movie is ass. What? I'm not swearing. It's the acronym. Oh boy, John Ty, $5 super chat. As a Superman fan, I do get annoyed when fans focus so much on the super part of his name and they seem to forget the man part. I think a lot of that is just people that haven't read a lot of good Superman stories and have this kind of Superman, this kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, we're talking about Superman, and I started saying a word that begins with the word super, and it completely threw me off.
Yep.
Superficial. I was like, superfluous? No. People have, I think, this kind of superficial notion that you can't relate to a character that has all these superpowers and is an alien and comes from another planet and that kind of thing. But I also think it's even more than that. It tends to be, but he's perfect and does no wrong. Mm-hmm. And if you write him right, that's not true. It's that he just gets really darn close. Yeah. You know? And I think there's a big distinction between a character that usually does the right thing and a character that has no flaws.
Yeah.
You know, those are really different things.
Yeah.
So, John, I'm gonna suggest that the bigger issue is when writers forget the man part.
Yeah. Now I want a new James Gunn movie. Man.
Is that the sequel to
That's
Super?
The sequel to Super. It's man.
Lewis Cox, £5 super chat. Hey, Jason and Cap, Superman and Spider-Man are two of my favorite superheroes. Rock on.
Yeah.
Ours as well. Michael Rhodes, Cap and Jason, how big of a deal is picture quality for you? Do you have any intention of getting superhero films on 4K UHD instead of just Blu-ray DVD? So I've talked about this before, but for me, and I can't speak for Jason. I don't know how he feels about this, but I'll just briefly say my piece on this. I don't typically care because I don't have like the best eyesight. I just, even with glasses, I don't feel like I notice the nuances as well. Like, I certainly can tell the difference between DVD and Blu-ray.
Yeah.
With most things. So like, if I'm looking at a YouTube video,
yeah,
if I toggle it from 720 to 1080, I can see the difference.
Yeah.
But if I can go from 1080 to 4K, I don't know that I can tell that well.
I don't really care, honestly. Like, I don't want to, like, I wouldn't watch a recording of a theater that someone took on their phone for the whole movie. I wouldn't watch a movie like that.
Yeah, that's going too far in the bad quality direction.
Right.
But that's also not just about picture quality.
Yeah, it's...
You often don't get the whole frame, and there's lighting problems.
Bad audio quality, too, and yeah. But just picture quality-wise, I wouldn't do that, but, like, I don't really...
Well, you'll watch stuff on a VHS tape.
Right, I do watch things on VHS tapes, so yeah.
To be fair, if you put that on a CRT TV, it looks fine, because that's what those were for.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look as good as if you put it on a digital screen.
Right.
So yeah, to answer your question, I don't have any intention on upgrading my superhero movie collection to 4Ks, but I do buy 4Ks sometimes for packaging, even if I'll never end up looking at the disc, because I don't have a 4K player, but maybe someday, if I find a cheap enough one, just to be able to get certain releases that I can. But I can't think of a situation where there's features on a 4K disc that I can't watch on another disc that it came with.
Yeah.
So I really don't need them.
Yeah. I was gonna say something. I can't remember now.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up real quick. Like I said, we can only broadcast for a little while here. Mutale, thank you so much for the super chat. Better Evil Superman, Injustice, or Red Sun? Well, Jason's not read Red Sun, although I think you're old enough now. I would let you. You'd maybe want to read up a little bit on the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
To really appreciate that. Get some Russian history. Not that I know a lot, but I know enough to know what the Soviet Union is, and I'm not sure that you're even familiar enough to really know what that is.
Yeah.
But they're really different things. It's kind of hard to compare them. They're both really good Elseworlds kinds of stories, where you wouldn't want either of them. I mean, I guess it goes without saying, like, you only want to do like the full-on evil Superman thing in alternate continuity, as opposed to like, let's take him evil and then bring him back again. But the novelty of Injustice is it is a world where it's just your regular Superman who snaps at some point, whereas Red Sun is a Superman who's raised by the Soviet Union. The Injustice, and they're kind of opposites in that Red Sun is not really evil. Red Sun is raised by, again, the Russians, and then by the end of the book, spoilers, he becomes much closer to the Superman that you know and love.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've read that, and I think the movie was more cynical about it, which is part of what I didn't like about that. With Injustice, it's the inversion of that, where he's raised by the Kents, he's exactly the Superman that you know, and then the Joker gets him to kill Lois Lane, thinking that she's Doomsday. Yes, this happens, and he becomes a fascist dictator. So he ends in a fascist place that he can never completely come back from. And Red Sun begins in that place, and he's sort of able to come back from it. And so there's a novelty to the Injustice version that's kind of fun to just imagine what if Superman lost his way. And with Red Sun, it's more, is it possible for somebody raised in that way to get over it? So just for, the fun of actual evil Superman, I'm going to go with Injustice.
Yeah.
But Red Sun is the less gimmicky of the stories.
Yeah.
Most certainly. But I adore the first volume of Injustice.
Yeah.
I've heard it go south after that, and I've been kind of too afraid to keep going with it after I've heard that. But, so I've read a little bit of the second volume, or the second year. Okay, we've got a couple more super chats. I better knock these out real quick.
Yeah.
So that we can go take care of the twins. Thanks, man. Or thank you guys for the super chats. John Ty, $10 super chat. I say this also because so much of the Superman fans also think of the super part of his name, we're still on this, over the man part. Like, they think he's just an ideal, but he's more than that. But I like that Superman functions as an icon at the same time as he can be a really interesting, compelling character.
Yeah.
And I think it's fine that he lives in both of those worlds.
Yeah.
But that can make it difficult, especially in a kind of politically polarized and sort of cynical world like the one we live in, to get people that only think of him as this maybe even like old-fashioned, outmoded sort of icon, to look at him as a person first. Mutale, another super chat. What do you think the opening credits for Superman Legacy will be like? Because all of Gunn's comic book movies have them. I have thought about this a lot, and I don't know. I'm hoping that, and maybe I could be won over on it, but I'm hoping that Legacy will be the first big departure for Gunn, where he doesn't go with so much of the incidental popular music.
Yeah.
I want to see him get away from that and do something more timeless.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that the music always dates his pieces. It's just, I don't need this to be another tribute to the 20th century.
Right.
but like culture-wise, I hope it's a little bit more traditional. But
Yeah.
I'm saying that not knowing what his take is going to be.
Right.
So I could be won over on it if that happens. I do expect a spectacular, exciting opening title sequence.
All the people who died.
It should somehow be the opposite of that, whatever that looks
All
like.
the people who lived.
But I expect it to be some kind of, really surprise, exciting, stick with you kind of opening.
Yeah.
Because that's what he always does, and that's one of the things I love about his movie. So I don't want him to get away from that.
Yeah.
But like really sideswipe us with the credits. But I would not be surprised if he didn't do something very science fiction with it, very spacey. Maybe a tribute to Donner in some way that's not just that again.
Yeah.
It could be just the spaceship flying through space.
Yeah.
Some sort of. But that seems like the obvious thing to do. So maybe there's no reason to expect he would go that way. Real quick before we finish up here, Jayson just alluded to this, but I let you watch The Suicide Squad. What did you think of that?
I did. It was good. It honestly, the big problem with it is it just doesn't stick with you. Like if you only watch it once, like it just kind of like
So I had
you
the
watched
same thing.
it. You watch it and like it was funny. It was good. I can't remember any of the things I laughed at.
And see, the more I've watched it, the more it really has stuck with me.
Yeah.
Like I really like that movie now, but I had to see it 4 times.
Yeah.
But you enjoyed it the first time.
I did. It wasn't like the best movie ever.
You still like the Guardians movies better?
Yeah.
Because I know you like Gunn's sensibilities
I
quite a
do.
bit.
Is Superman Legacy gonna be Gunn's second movie with the word super in it?
Yes.
Oh man.
Which is weird. How do you feel about him directing then? And writing it?
I just hope he. I hope he takes it a little more seriously. Honestly, I don't want it to be. At least I don't want it to be on like Guardians level of just kind of weird and funny. Like I like his sensibilities of like weird and funny movies, but he just does like every single movie just is weird and funny. So,
yeah.
like, I want him to take at least Superman a little more seriously. If he makes a Batman movie, actually no. I know what I want. I want him to make a Black Mask movie. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I want a Black Mask movie.
You love Black Mask.
Because that would be amazing.
But don't you think? I absolutely agree with you, and I hear what you're saying. But don't you think that he could find a really great balance, like he has in the past, where he takes some of the weirdness in Superman comics and bring that to screen while taking the Superman part of it, as you say, very seriously.
Yeah, I don't.
Everybody's expecting Crypto the Superdog shows up in that movie. Like that kind of absurdity, I think should happen with his stuff.
Yeah.
And I would be very surprised if it didn't. But also, like some of the weird, alien stuff, cosmic stuff. I know you love Lobo. I think there's every reason to expect that he could put Lobo in a
I
Superman
didn't even
movie.
think about Lobo. Yeah.
And that's very much in his wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is
That's
the
why I was
stuff
thinking Black
the stuff you're
Mask.
thinking shouldn't be in a Superman movie. No, he could still do and give you exactly what you want.
But I just don't want that movie to be all that.
Okay.
I don't want it to be another Guardians. Because Guardians is just nothing but craziness the whole way through.
Sure.
It's not, it doesn't take itself seriously that much. Not, like, it does. But at the same time, it's just a silly movie.
I feel like
And
in places, the Suicide Squad is almost more serious than those.
Yeah. And I want him to take it the same direction, kind of.
Okay, we have got to get going. Let me read this last super chat real quick.
Yep.
Clinton Tilbury, $2 super chat. What Superman comics do you hope they adapt? Well, contrary to one of our viewers earlier, I do want him to kind of stick to burn. Adapt some of that early post-crisis stuff, at least in tone. And I want maybe something similar to that Krypton. But as far as like really specific Superman stories, I don't know. I kind of want something, and I'm sure he'll do something pretty wholly original.
I have not
You haven't read enough.
read enough. have I read any Superman besides a little bit of death of the him?
And I'm saying this knowing that he's doing that there will be some origin at least sprinkled into this, probably, like knowing the kind of, to some degree, the kind of movie he's making. It's hard to throw out certain stories that I'd like to see adapted. Like, of course, it would be neat to get a movie based on partly or all of whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow, All-Star Superman again. I would love a straight-on, maybe even standalone Lex Luthor Man of Tomorrow piece. But I'm not going to say I want that for this, because it wouldn't make any sense.
Would you want a Reign of the Superman movie?
At this point, I don't care anymore. Like, I can't really get excited about it. If we got to that place, absolutely.
Yeah.
But anyway, guys, we're going to have to bid you farewell. I'll be back in just a couple hours. Actually, a little less than a couple hours. And we can maybe continue some of this conversation later if the folks want to keep talking about Superman. Jason?
Yeah.
Thanks for just randomly saying Superman.
I never
so that
said
we could
that.
make this. Well,
Superman.
I know you didn't say it like that. I was kidding. But
Oh,
thanks for bringing. But it was your idea to
Superman.
bring up to talk about Superman.
Yeah, to talk about Superman.
Well, was that fun?
Yes.
You wanted to talk about Superman, and we talked about Superman.
We talked about Superman. Is there a good Superman video game?
No, not really.
I mean, there's the beat 'em up.
That's mediocre and too hard, but the look of it's okay. People like the Superman Returns game okay. I think it probably had camera issues. But a lot of people, I think, partly like that game just because it was more of what they wanted from that movie. Whereas, like, they just brought a lot of comic stuff in it. You go to Apocalypse and stuff, I think.
Yeah.
But, all right, folks, we're going to get going. Thanks for watching. I was Captain Logan. This was Jason.
That was me.
Bye, guys.
Bye.